Sunday Sharpe, do 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 do. Sunday Sharpe, do 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 do. Sunday Sharpe, do 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 do. Ah, hello, hello, hello. Willkommen. Hola. Bonjour. Bienvenue. Let's get this camera and stuff sorted out so it's in roughly the right place. How is everyone this week? Hope everyone is well, fine and dandy. Hello, lovely Mary. And first of the chat was Jamie. Greetings, Jamie. A new name. Hello, Happy Adele. How are you, my dear? And Sky Dancer. Good afternoon. Hope everyone is, as I said, fine and dandy and all good. Oh, and apparently George Farmer's been doing stickleback aquascapes. Isn't that called a stream? Yeah. Oh, and now we get that annoying time when all the notifications come through on YouTube. For everything that I've not clicked since I last turned the computer on. Well, that one's actually might actually be interesting. Yes, you get all the notifications for all the randomness. Yes, I'm doing rather well. Thinking about how are you lately, my dear? I hope you're on the mend and on the upstroke. And Bateson, howdy. How the devil art thou? Anyone new here? Yes, there might be some slight crudeness. Yes, there will be smoking. Yes, there will be drinking of energy drinks. But hey, that's the warnings out of the way anyway. I'm scary enough in itself, especially if I'm having a bad hair life. I would say bad hair day, but I'm starting to turn into Phil Oakey, I think. If you're not old enough, Google Human League. Anyone know any good cat recipes? This one's about kung pao chicken. The only time I think I ate cat was as spare ribs, so yeah, spare rib, cook them like that. Other than that, probably similar things to rabbit recipes would work quite well. Yes, I was having spare ribs at a barbecue, and the spare rib I had a knee joint in the middle of it. Yeah, it tasted all right, so it didn't bother me too much. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, ribs don't have joints in the middle. I mean, some of mine do, but that's due to breakages. Still no dead bodies, so you're doing okay. That's good. Long as you're not, because I did hear about some things occurring over there, Marriott, and wondered if perhaps she had gone off the deep end finally. I shouldn't laugh about it, but you know I don't mean it. Howdy, Matt. Yes, Sharpe is happy. Sharpe has good news to share for once. So, yes. Long story short, I'm not unemployed anymore. I have a job. So, yeah. Nothing special or amazing. It's part-time as a new Screwfix shop opened up in town. If you're not familiar, Screwfix being a UK-based hardware store chain. Kind of place you order things or you go in and say, I want this, and then someone gets it for you and brings it to the counter. Thank you very much, Patty, and hello, and New England Endler. We're just there. we're talking about it. So yes, Screwfix Direct, I are now an employee of. Um, so still dealing with the public, but no late nights. Shouldn't be any drunks to deal with. No Allens. Um, so fingers crossed it goes well. It's basically part warehouse, part retail. And what have I done most of my working life? Warehouses and retail. So, and I got it despite their system messing up, which was awesome. As I was having morning now with Mary, like we do every morning via text and WhatsApp and stuff. Because obviously we don't live together. But oh, thank you very much, Merritt. And I'd already had an email to say I had an interview. So I'd gone through all the online stuff and passed all the tests and the questions they ask you online. But the email had 2 different dates and times for an interview. I was like, yeah, okay. So I called up, and the person I talked to on the phone said, yeah, it's the later one, which will be Monday coming at 11. Righto. Well, then Friday morning at 8:30, during the middle of morning natter, as you can imagine what I'm like at that time in the morning when I've not got anything to do or anywhere to be. Hello, Cheryl and Mikey. So yeah, 8:30, phone goes, text message. Your interview is at 9 o'clock. Bring this, blah blah. Oh crap. Okay, so I've got 30 minutes to brush my teeth, brush my hair, grab all my documents, sort my bag out, find a shirt, pair of trousers, a tie, get dressed, and a 20-minute walk to the place. Whoa! So yes, I walked in there at 9 o'clock on the dot, rather red-faced, sweaty, out of breath, because it's best part of 2 miles, and I walked it in like 15 minutes. So you know. But yeah, had an interview, all went well. Got a bit confused because it was like, what size uniform do you need? And I'm thinking, my brain is going 100 miles an hour at this point. What size uniform do you need? And I'm thinking, oh, is this one of those ones where they only do certain sizes, and if you're too fat, they don't have a uniform, so you can't work there? That kind of thing. So I say the sizes XL and size 7. Right, I'm sat there. I was obviously looking confused, and so yeah, you've got the job, by the way. Phew. So yes, Ian or Eakins, I have had a good day. So that was a good Friday. Well, Friday morning anyway. I spent the rest of Friday pretty much in a blur trying to figure out what the hell just happened, which meant I didn't do most of the chores I should have done on Friday, so I had to do them all yesterday. Then this morning I was catching a bunch of fish and shrimp, and we took them to the LFS and sold a bunch of bristlenoses and shrimpies, and finally got rid of all the mollies. Shannon, hello, my dear. How are you? Hope all is well with you and you're not working too hard. And Holy Oscars, hello. And yes, I know I did go very high pitched and squeaky when I said Shannon. But you know, she's a hottie. I'm allowed to. And Shannon's just gone red.
And no, it's not beer. It is another can of Relentless. Oh yeah, so lots of good news there. Yeah, thank you very much, Sky. Other good news. We've had another drop of Limia perugiae. So there's a bunch more of them zooming about in the tank. Mr. and Mrs. Crib are looking like they're getting ready to drop again. So we're going to have to find a home to put the current batch of criblets. There are the first spawn of the Limia perugiae are now in the Fluval Flex Bristlenose breeding tank jungle. There were 7 of them, 6 female and 1 male. James, sir, Mr. Fishroom Fever, welcome. So, I haven't seen you for months, and then we start turning up everywhere together. I hope all is well with you, sir. And I hope your knuckles are all healed up finally. And yes, if you don't have that photo, I saved it. It's the photo I use when people say, no, piranhas don't bite you. Piranhas are safe. That's all a misconception. They never bite people. I mean, I hope you don't mind me using your gruesome injury to prove people wrong, but you know, I figure that's a sensible use of copyright. Yeah, if it saves someone else from losing a finger or something, then it's worth doing. Nothing is a never. Exactly. And if it was content or something, then yes, I would ask. But I figured, as you shared it around to pretty much everywhere, I figured you wouldn't mind. And there's nothing in it that identifies you anyway. Not unless someone is overly familiar with your tattoos. Marit's having a drink. That's good to know. And Sky once been awake since 4 a.m. Yeah, I'm going to have to start waking up earlier. I mean, I wake up. To me, there's a difference between getting up and waking up. I might get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. That doesn't mean I'm awake until 9 or 10 at the earliest. It would be maths as a statistical anomaly. It would, but it does happen. Need some so you don't kill the dentist tomorrow. Oh dear. Not having the rest of them out. You're not going to be gumming things, are you? Yeah, I'll say I think you're a relatively normal, sensible person, James. I didn't feel you're the sort of person who get massively irate about these things like some do. I mean, if it was monetized content, then I would definitely ask permission. We've all seen that one happen where someone borrows someone else's content, gets caught out, and then, yeah, the other person gets all the money from that video. So, yeah, I'm not doing that. And if I do use someone else's content or something that someone else has said, or I do try to remember to give credit where credit is due. So where were we? Yes, more Limias. Lots of females. More Shelleys again. Oh no. Cheryl got the Rona. Healing hugs. Big healing hugs to little Cheryl. Hopefully, I hope you don't get it any worse than I did. Let's put it that way. The worst part for me has been the long term, the long COVID, as they call it. Oh well, if you've been putting lad Bible, James, then you made it, haven't you? Really? Um, you know, they could probably do an entire article on lad Bible about dumb things Sharpe has done. Bobbert as Brandon. How do you do? Bobbity Bedford. No, don't do that joke. That's a really bad joke. Don't do that one. But yes, thanks to everyone for the congratulatorios. And I've realised I've messed something up. Not for the first time, and it won't be the last time. Yeah, I mean, I think at some point it's going to get us all Cheryl. The fact that I went through a year working in a shop, dealing with the public and the drunks without getting it. And yes, I do have a fart jar. We'll put that there. And we'll have the poop emoji as well, so everyone's where they should be. Oh, and we'll grab that as well. Not only have the other cool stuff's been going on, but as we may have noticed the other week, I'm back in the model cave lately. And the latest finished build is Tamiya's 148th Mark 1A Spitfire in 1939 scheme, pre-war. Slightly dirted up, not the greatest build. Oh, the kit's superb. It's the idiot that built it that's the problem. Oh, getting more notifications coming through. But yeah, so well, the thing is, I've had the urge to start making models again, and being low on funds is a very cheap thing to do when you already have all the glues, the paints, the tools, and a stash of model kits. And if you do it during the daytime, it costs you nothing because you don't even have to turn the blimmin' light on. So yeah, it saves money and keeps the brain working in a different way. Keeps things occupado, and probably technically qualifies as exercise, what with the sanding and the cutting of parts. Compared to what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing that, it is exercise. It's more exercise than sitting there in the armchair going, my type of model. Most things I do generally prefer tanks, purely on the parts count. And as Robert said, it hands to being the little pieces that drive you nuts. Well, I've got tanks up there that are. Let me grab one. Let's grab a T90 SA. So, Soviet T90 main battle tank. Very, very cool tank. Has not been used in Ukraine because Russia doesn't actually have enough to use in warfare. But no joking, there are more parts in that kit than there are plecos in my house. That is 1,600 piece kit. So yeah. But yeah, I'll say very detailed. Lots of photo etch brass, resin. And there's some up there that have got the full interiors in. You can't see it, but it's all there, and it's all painted and weathered and detailed. But yeah, I enjoy doing that. It's a good hobby for people who are a bit nuts like me, because your brain, you're concentrating on that task at that time. Your brain's not wandering off onto weird things. I do use a windy wand, an airbrush. I spray lacquers, enamels, and acrylics. So water, spirit, and cellulose based. Yes, I breathe in the fumes. No, I don't do it in a room where fish are. The main cave is upstairs in the spare bedroom. All the fish are downstairs, and I shut the door when I go in there if I'm going to do spraying. Because that stuff's not good for humans to have in them, but fish, it'd probably wipe out a complete tank of fish. Oh, James, been introducing UK chocolate. Yes. Yeah, you see, I've been saying for years, because we do get American chocolate come over here, and people rave about, oh, we got this Hershey, and I've tried it, and it is like someone took some cream, added some sugar, added some brown, then added more sugar, and a bit more sugar, and then peanut butter. Yeah. Not supposed to breathe that in. Yeah, well, the stuff I've breathed in over the years, a good coughing fit, it probably does me good. Yeah, I sit there with a cigarette in my mouth, airbrushing, so, you know. Friend sent you 4 kilos. Oh, jeez. Oh, even I'd struggle to eat 4 kilos of chocolate. I can do half a kilo, or I used to be able to. I mean, in an evening, I used to buy the half-kilo bars of dairy milk. But yeah, if you like the, no wonder I see ghosts. Yeah, that's when I'm completely straight and sober. Yeah. Yeah. Wait till you start on the Swiss and the Belgian chocolates, James. Oh, yes. I don't mean Toblerone and Gillian. Smoking blocks are harmful. Well, yeah, I'm breathing through a filter. Yes, yeah, I'm filtering it. Plus, I don't actually breathe that much, so it's not really too bad. And yeah, I mean, given the other stuff I've breathed in over the years, a little bit of paint fumes isn't going to hurt. I mean, I spent 15 years working in a warehouse made out of asbestos, so. Oh, dark chocolate, pecan and sorry, in English, dark chocolate, pecans and caramel. You see, I'd take out the pecans and the caramel and add more cocoa solids. If you're going to go dark chocolate, you can't go any less than sort of 70-80% pure cocoa. Oh, but you don't eat dark chocolate. You break off a square, you let it melt in your mouth. The people who don't like dark chocolate are because they try and eat it like they would dairy milk or something, and they go, oh, nom, 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 nom. Hotel chocolates are a bit fancy for me. But yeah, I'm Look at me, I'm not fancy, but you can tell the difference. Whether the difference is worth the massive jump in price is down to a value judgment call on the individual. To me, not so much. Hello, Debbie. No, you're welcome. Not like chocolate. I'm English and I can't stand tea. So, that is something that is treason. And no C's candy store. Nope. No. If we have American candies, they're literally in a special section of a supermarket, generally out of the way of everything else that you might want to eat. Kenny. Oh, how's that TV? Hope it's not turning on and off. Get a rope. That's normally where I go to when someone tells me to get a rope. But I do actually have scientific reasoning for not liking tea. That's because tea in itself has no flavour. Tea has aroma. And because the two senses are so closely intertwined, people think tea tastes, but it doesn't. It actually smells. So therefore, with no sense of smell, when someone gives you a cup of tea, what they're giving you that you're drinking is a cup of hot, really watered down sugary milk, which you can, I mean, skimmed or 2% milk is foul at the best of times. So if you take 4% milk and you water it down 10 to 1, yeah, no thanks. And then hot, ugh. Oh, I'd rather tongue my own taint. Oh, it's horrible. Flavourless liquid insect. I can't smell anything, Ian. Most of the time I can barely even breathe through this. All my nose does is kind of hold my glasses up. I've never had a sense of smell at all. So that's why I can airbrush in a closed room and not struggle, because I can't smell any of it. Debbie has a pot of tea in the morning, coffee the rest of the day. I just stick to energy drinks and Coke. Generally, if I get really cold, I might have a cup of Octo or Bovril. But generally, that's about it. But yeah, so, and even if my sense of smell worked, that's been broken so many times that air barely gets through it anymore. I've got one of those annoying nose hairs that just keeps. I might get the lighter on it later, or a pair of scissors. Ladies, you won't be familiar with that concept. Gents of a certain age, however, itchy nose syndrome, which is caused by that one hair that just keeps getting an annoying place and tickling the inside of your snout. But yeah, anosmia is a scientific or a medical condition, and it's about the only one of your senses that you can't claim disability for if you don't have it. Annoyingly, well, it does prohibit me from doing certain jobs. Granted, I did once, many years ago, apply to work in the sewers. Pretty grim, I know, but a small group of a few of you, yeah, it's nasty, but I can't smell it. Perfect. Not a problem. Because you can't smell the poop and everything else that's down there. You can't smell the pockets of gas either. Pardon me. So, yes, for health and safety reasons, I'm not allowed to work in a sewer. Probably the same reasons I'm not allowed to work in a bomb factory, I would have thought. Kind of thing, if I applied for a job at a bomb factory and they gave it to me, I would probably call them on health and safety grounds. That'd be like employing Kenny to test chainsaws. Hey, Brennan, how you doing? He guys. Yeah, that actually works though. Yeah, I'll say if anyone knows, Kenny's not allowed to use power tools anymore. So, letting me loose with anything dangerous. Yeah. Doing some yard work. Oh dear. You know the great thing about my yard? I know I'll drink coffee. I like coffee. I just don't do hot drinks usually. Normally it's too damn hot for me. I don't need heat. I need something cool with more caffeine and sugar in than coffee. Yeah, I do drink coffee if coffee's there and I need a drink. I'll drink the coffee. 1 spoon of coffee granules, 3 spoons of sugar, 3/4 full of hot water or boiling water. Top it up with milk, full fat. Job done. That's how coffee is made. Monsters, rock stars, yes. The main food groups for a Sharpie: caffeine, nicotine, sugar, pastry, and beef or cheese. Yeah, cheese. We'll go with cheese. That's more. That's where I'm weird, you see, because I got the job. I was like, right. Most people would celebrate, and I was like, right. So I need to do some kind of celebrating. What do I do? Well, I don't drink. So I bought myself a truckle of Stilton. Well, it wasn't a truckle; it was only a quarter truckle. But yeah, I had a large chunk of blue Stilton cheese that I devoured. I mean, I had some really fun dreams that night. Really fun dreams. Yeah. See, that's the other thing. Due to my unique dietary requirements, healthy food makes me ill. Unhealthy food makes me well. More cheese, Gromit. Hello, my lady. Yes, but not Wensleydale. I don't tend to go for Wensleydale. It's a bit mild for me. Or like a good, strong, extra mature farmhouse cheddar. Stilton, Gorgonzola, Dolciolata, Cambozola. I can't have brie and camembert for some reason. Well, no, camembert I can have, brie I can't, which is weird because the ingredients are exactly the same in all of them, but for some reason brie has a deleterious effect on my innards. Let's just put it that way. Cat chat, yes, we can chat kitties. I can talk kitties all day. The kitties rock. I didn't say I didn't like it. It's just not strong enough. I don't like Edam. Edam, you may as well just leave the rind on the whole thing and just play basketball with it. Cheese should not bounce. Yeah, good sharp cheddar. Yes. one with the salt crystals starting to form in it, and I did get the pun there, only Oscars. Oh god, I'm definitely gonna have to get a new chair. This one is, mind you, if I keep using this chair and it collapses on a live stream, then that could be quite popular. The sort of thing that people would remember. I do actually have a spare one upstairs. I just got to dig it out from wherever it's hiding. It's somewhere in the back of the man cave. I think it's behind the step ladder and the fishing poles. Yeah, crackers and salami. Yeah, I'd leave the crackers out of it. Just have the cheese and the salami. Yeah, a bit of bite to it, a bit of strength, a bit of power there. So when you sort of go about half hour later, you can still taste the cheese. The kind of cheese where if you do a cheese sandwich and you put some ketchup or some mayo on it, you can still taste the cheese, not just the ketchup and mayo or hot sauce. So yes, I did get a job. I start next week. It is part-time, which is what I wanted. I didn't want full-time. With all the fishes to look after and YouTubey to do, and not having a mortgage, I don't need that much money. Oh hell, I supported myself for a year without a job. So how long was I at One Stop? Was it One Stop 15 months? So year 15, 27, 28, 35. So in the last 4 years, I've had 21 months out of work. So, hello, Scott. So yeah, the joys of not having a mortgage means your monthly bills are pretty low. And then with what little I make from YouTube and what I make from selling fisheries, then that will top up the earnings enough that I'm hopefully no longer watching the bank account go, hopefully it will just sort of stabilize and maybe start going up again. And then when it gets up again to a certain level, I can quit again. No, I joke. Last 2 places I quit for very good reason. The place I worked before that, I was there for 15 years, so that tells you. It's not me, it was the place. I just ate some dill cheese, which just tastes of cheese, because I can't, without the sense of smell, my sense of taste is fairly dead as well. So adding things like herbs to cheese, it just cheese with green bits in it, jalapeno, so very mildly spicy. Garlic and chives I can take. I can taste garlic and chive. Although, to me, if you can have something with garlic in it, it's got to have enough garlic in it for it to be sort of hot sauce kind of approaching levels of spiciness to it. But yeah, locally made is always good. Unpasteurized cheese is the best cheese. Nom 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 nom. Oscar, I haven't worked since 2012 and I've never been busier. But are you enjoying what you're doing? That is the thing. Because if you're enjoying it, it's not like work so much. You know, as I've been joking for the last year, I'm a professional YouTuber and fish breeder. Which technically I was, because that's what was paying the way. I was getting paid to do it. Not much, but because I'm good at breeding bristle noses. I'm not very good at doing YouTube. Um, Wrong type of content to be making a lot of money off of YouTube. Except for changing up his diapers, I'm enjoying myself. Oh bless. Well, exactly. There we go. This is we get one shot at this thing called life. So we may as well try and enjoy it while we can. And the old quote of "you can't take it with you." So what's the? I know the other joke is that he who dies with the most toys wins, but not really. And then someone else has just got to go through all that garbage and throw it in the bin or put it in the charity shop. Something I try and remind modelers of very frequently when they're showing this massive stash of kits. Look at all these model kits I've got. Oh wow, yeah, I'm sorting. You're never going to build them. You're never going to be. You're never going to build all of them in your lifetime. Oh, but they're an investment for the kids. It's like, you do realize that what's going to happen with those is they're just going to either be chucked on eBay dirt cheap or go down the local charity shop. They're not going to be sold for what you think they're worth. Hello, lovely Dee Dee. Exactly, lady. You're not winning if you're dead, so why work yourself into an early grave? It may sound a bit socialist or communist of me, but I really don't think we should spend a vast majority or vast portion of our lives making other people richer. Because if you work for someone, that's what you're doing. You're making them richer. Yeah, I'd rather bumble along, doing a bit of work, getting all the bills paid, so I'm okay. I don't have to panic or worry about paying the bills at the end of the month. I don't want the stress and the grief and the hassle. So I said, I would quite happily have packed envelopes for a living, or just sweep the floor. It's boring as all hell, but there's no stress involved. G'day, Lord Mark. Hope all is well with thou. I know I even said to one of the local councillors, not councillors, different thing. Because they're saying about keeping the town clean and tidy and all these things. I said, well, pay me minimum wage, 20 hours a week. I'll go around there with a bin bag and a picker upper and a broom, and I'll keep the town clean for you. Okay. I'll do that 20 hours a week quite happily. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. What the heck? I'd even pull the weeds out of the little planters and the borders and stuff. But apparently not in the budget. It's contracted to a big company who come and do it. Once a week they come around and they change the bin bags. That's about all they do. And once every 6 months they might sweep the streets. That's literally it. Yeah, I've always done, I don't know whether you'd call it manual labour or not, but no, not sat behind a desk work. Oh, pardon me. And yeah, you notice it. I mean, you can tell if you get someone who works behind a desk all week, they're the ones who are like, oh yeah, I'm going down the gym tonight. You get it at the brush factory when I work there. It's like the people in the office will be They would be like, oh yeah, I'm going down the gym. And I'm like, try doing a day's work instead. You don't have to go to the gym then. The good news, what hath happened, Mandy Pandy, is I are employed. I have a jobby job. Yes. No, that's manual labour. Don't worry, he's from Barcelona. He said, I'm some Mr. 40. Anyone who's not seen Fawlty Towers, yeah. It's the John Cleese comedy series. I think it ran for 8 episodes or something. Yeah, as Dee Dee says, done a lot of hard labour and desk jobs. When I was desk working for 33 years, always digging, yeah. Exactly. Let's be honest. Yes, work, the dreaded W word, and with the public as well, but no alcohol involved or late nights, so that's good. But yeah, if you're sat at a desk working and you're basically replying to emails or chatting on the phone all day, that's pretty much what most of us do when we're not at work anyway. So no wonder so many people found that they could work from home during COVID. The only reason to actually go to the office was to stand around the water cooler and have a natter. And I also realised that when they were being left at home to do it, left alone, no random people keep wandering past asking you dumb questions. Because if they've actually got to email you or call you about it, they're more likely to try and figure it out themselves. So they found out people were a lot more productive. They could do a lot more in a lot less time at home than they could at the office. Yeah. If it wasn't manual, it was when I got home. Yeah. Dug one fence post hole, that was enough. Yeah, exactly. I've got a rogue hair somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's on the end of my cat hair. Yeah, been fussing Ginge earlier, so I'm probably covered in it. Yeah, this is why. And then, yeah. So I don't think I could actually do a desk job. It would probably just bore me to tears, and being as I'm not the most sociable person at work most of the time anyway. No real manual labour, work retail. Yeah, retail is manual labour. You're on your feet all day. Minimal lifting. Yeah, it's manual labour. You're using your body more than you're using your brain. Door-to-door sales in Texas for about 3 days until they melted. Yeah, I wouldn't have made 3 hours. Post hole digger for the tractor. Yes. One of the augers, like a corkscrew bit, just drills the hole straight down for you. Stick the post in there, hold it upright, and someone else pours the concrete around it. Yeah. So much easier. And Chewy liked manual labour, it kept you in shape. Yeah, exactly, it does. I think a lot of the issues, health problems that people are having these days are probably due to the more sedentary jobs that a lot of people have. I mean, yes, I've put on a considerable amount of weight being unemployed. I'll lose quite a chunk of it once I go back to work. But a lot of the problem is people go to work and they sit down at a desk. They come home, they sit down. So yeah, if you're taking in excess amounts of fat and things like that, it's going to cause problems. Whereas if you're working, you can burn it off. Accounting was my main job. Tried veterinary, but always had euthanasia will suck. Being a Chewy and Lady Divey and roadies, hauling band gear. Yeah, people don't realise how heavy some of that band gear actually is. Grocery store, plant nursery, and a florist. Yeah, grocery store is manual labour. It might not be heavy manual labour like being a bricklayer or a plasterer or something like that. But it's manual labour. If you're not sat on your bum, it's manual. Got a new. Oh, congratulations, Debbie's got a new job to do. Housekeeping in a council-run home for the elderly. 30 hours a week, 8 till 2. Sweet. Yeah, some 16 to 24, and yeah, hours will change on a weekly basis probably due to the way shifts and stuff happen. And so, so certain people don't end up doing every Saturday or every Sunday. It's one of those where you don't mind doing the odd one or every other one or something like that, but you don't want to do every bloody weekend. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, see, and that's why people like you, Chewy, because you muck in and do the bloody work as well. Now, we've all had the manager that will stand there and tell you what to do, but the manager that actually mucks in, gets their hands dirty and gives you a hand and knows what they're doing, they're the managers you actually respect. Yeah, Hammond organs, yeah, they're bloody heavy. Debbie's been doing every other weekend, which is fair. To me, that is a fair way of doing it. But let's say the last place I worked, I did every Saturday without fail, and every Friday without fail. Lates. So, oh, yeah, that sun's at that angle again, isn't it? And yeah. And if I said anything, said, look, any chance we can shift things around a bit so I'm not always doing the late on the Friday and then an early late split shift on the Saturday? No, we can't do that. We can't change anything. There's nobody else who can work that. Yeah, bragging about the size of their organs. Well, speaking of organs, more good news. We've got rid of a Johnson. Well, kind of. Organs and Johnsons, all the same thing. And as I've already said, as long as you don't replace it with an absolute hunt, as you had to work either a Saturday or a Sunday every weekend. Now, what is that? That'd be a farting man, Mandy. that is the man farting emoji. Specifically, the fat man farting emoji. Boyfriend was a drummer who got migraine. That wasn't Yuka out of Nightwish, was it, Lady Diane? He was the original drummer for Nightwish, Yuka. He had to step down as well because he suffered from migraines and insomnia. Noted. Yes. And at some point, if I get around to it, I will see if I can find a cartoony picture of a fat man burping, and we'll add that as another members emoji. Each had a stack of Marshalls. Yes. Ah, yes, Chewy. But how many of them actually had anything inside the cabinet? Yes, we all know those ones. The absolute wall of Marshall amps, and there's only one of them that's actually got anything in it. The rest of them are just there for show. It's just a wooden box. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's the way it should be anywhere you work. Everyone should muck in. There shouldn't be any of this. That's not my job. Oh, I don't get paid to do that. If someone needs doing, do it. You know? Oh, it's not my job to sweep the floor. Tough. Each is loaded a lot of ABC signals. Oh, yeah. I suppose things like that are getting lighter these days as well, aren't they? Now it's all digital and it hasn't got the honking great transformers in there. Ah, yes. Transformers and valves, one way to make an electronic device weigh an absolute ton. That's why I'm on racks that roll. Yeah, until you get square wheels. Hello, Sherry. In other good news, yes, I have a job now. So I are employed. And whether it was my wonderful interview technique and skill, or a case of who I know rather than what I know, I'll leave that up to you. Let's just say I might know the person rather well who was the assistant manager. Yes, basically, I know the person who was the assistant manager there, which is why I got a good recommendation before I even turned up. And I also know one of the other people who work there as well, and I work with them as well. So I went down. Evening, Bob. How are you, sir? I start next Friday for my induction. Then I'm working on the Saturday. Then the week after that, I'm doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6 till 2:30. And that's going to kill me. When am I moving to number 10? Well, second, as soon as someone gives me the job, and I wouldn't move to number 10. I don't need a house that big. I'll be like, no, we'll sell that off. No, just turn it into flats or something. We don't need that. What we need is a small one-bedroom apartment. That's enough. Yeah, I'm working in a hardware store, basically. It's a combination store warehouse. The kind of place where if you're in the UK, it's like Argos. There's a catalogue. You go in, you choose what you want. You hand the thing to the person behind the till. There you go, tap it. Then the person out the back brings it to the front. Kind of like that, but not. So yeah, a bit of everything probably. So a bit of dealing with the public, a bit of warehousey, order pickery, kind of restockery, unloading lorries. Generally the stuff I kind of know how to do pretty much with my eyes shut and one hand behind my back. Yeah, I'll probably be a bit of both. Whatever needs doing. If the floor needs sweeping, I'll sweep the floor. If a seat out the back needs filling up with someone smoking in it, I'll do that. It's one of those things where, because the store hasn't officially opened yet, once once things get up and running, that's the reason I've got a pig next week. Yeah. What is open all hours come to mind? Oh, yes. Yeah, I wonder if I'll have a Nurse Gladys Emmanuel down there. No, actually, the last place I worked, the boss was very Arkwright. It's like he watched that and took that as a how-to on to be a shop owner. Except Arkwright had better people skills. And 1973, I wasn't even an itch in my dad's scrotum yet. Yeah, open all hours. Yeah. Yes, my last boss had all the people skills of a brick, all the empathy and understanding of, I don't know, a rock. Graduated high school at 17. I left high school at 16, then went through college for 2 years till 18. Then I lived in digs for 3 years, basically renting a room in a house. And then I bought a house at 21. My first mortgage payment came out 5 days before my 21st birthday. Oh, pardon me. And I paid the mortgage off 8 years early. So it would have been due to be paid off this year, but I paid it off 8 years early. Hard work, yeah. Hard work isn't so hard if you enjoy it. That's the thing. If you're doing something you enjoy, it's a lot easier. I've just yet to find a job I enjoy. That's the problem. I mean, I'd be quite good in an advertising role. You know, looking at the adverts that these people all come up with and going, yeah, it doesn't actually tell you what it's for. Yeah, it's all very good and artsy and posh looking, but it doesn't say what the product is, what it does, how much it costs, where to find it, what the specifications are. Yeah, that's all I want. If it's an advert for a phone, I don't want to know for the entire advert about the camera. I want to know about the phone. The camera is a thing that is attached to the main thing. Right. Yeah, I could. It would be the kind of job where I could be an absolute troll. I could just be. No, that's just BS. No lies. Oh, politics. I could do that quite happily. I'd upset a lot of people. I'd tell the truth and tell it how it is. Wear those ads that say do anything for $7.99 an hour. Yeah, well, I mean, it don't take you an hour to do it, does it, Bob? So, you know, it's cheap. Dad was advertising editor for Car and Driver for years. Awful man. Yeah, I'd be the kind of person that would roll up. Well, everyone else has got their Armani suits on and their Gucci shoes and what have you. I'd roll up in a pair of cargos, a t-shirt, and a pair of Skechers, baseball cap on. Yeah, right, dudes. Wouldn't sell many phones if they told you the apps cost $5.99 each. No, but that's one thing I would do if I was in mobile phones, is I would remove all the apps from the phones to start with. Because you get a new phone these days and it's full of a whole bunch of apps that you'll never use. And it keeps telling you you need to update this and you need to update that. And then it tells you you've got no memory. So you uninstall all the apps that you never use. You go to bed, you wake up in the morning and they're all back again. Deception. Yeah, exactly. I mean, half of the adverts I see on bloody YouTube of things, you see the advert, like 20-second ad, and you've got no idea what the hell it was for. How does that work as an advert? If the advert is sitting there going, I don't even know what that was for. Had a close friend in the 80s. It was an ad exec at Jim Johnston in Manhattan. Cool stories behind the scenes. Probably pretty much like Mad Men. But just be honest and truthful. Because recent adverts we can't remember. It's just like, whatever. We've forgotten them, but we can all remember the things like, yeah, maybe not in the States, the instant mash smash for mash get smashed, or the Nescafe Gold Blend adverts, where it was basically a love story going on, and each new advert was the next part of the love story. And one local to my area, which was a radio ad rather than a TV ad. And it shows you how well this one stuck, because it stopped running about 10 to 15 years ago. Call, carpet call on Norwich 610732. That's Norwich 610732. Yeah, it was annoying as hell, but it's bloody stuck in my head. Not only do I know where to go to get a carpet, I know the number to call. All the PG Tips adverts with the chimpanzees, or all these kind of ads that you remember, and you remember the jingles for, and that. But the recent ones, yeah, no. Just in one ear, out the other. One of my friends is an older journalist, the wife of a concert promoter that my friend worked for. She was working on a book. She worked for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, the CBC, basically the BBC, but with A at the end of it, and politer. San Diego selling jewellery to sailors for the girls back home. Oh, yeah. Well, that would be the girl in the next port, I would have said, Lady Di. It's going to be, you know what they say about sailors? They have a woman in every port. Or a port in every woman. Yeah, but the Marlborough Man was cool. On his horse with his Stetson. Yeah, the Marlborough Man was a cool dude. He wanted to be like the Marlborough Man. And that's what. Not only did he start smoking, he got a horse as well. Yeah. Yeah, I never went that far. But then that's me and horses. Buy a necklace and get a free course of antibiotics. Yeah, yes. I've known people who were in the Navy. And yes, that was one of the main things. It was a Navy medic that I knew. And he said, yes, the main thing, other than general workplace related injuries, because ships are hard, and if you bash yourself into a ship, you're going to hurt yourself. But yeah, he said the main thing people came to see him for was antibiotics. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Yeah, and for the Brits, the old Hamlet adverts with the tune. And having the condor moment, the guy who everything is going really wrong for, he's just having a really bad day, and lights up his condor cigar, and everything is just instantly better. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Probably the best that tobacco advertising is illegal now. Yeah, see, Debbie remembers the condor moment. I swear there was a Hamlet advert as well, which had Yorick smoking a cigar as well. But you know, obviously Hamlet being the name of the Scottish play, and yeah, they kind of managed to wangle that into an advert as well, which is quite funny. So there was just Yorick's skull sat there with a cigar hanging out of his mouth. Why not? It worked. Bob, Mike. Yes, so fishy wise, yes. So obviously we've not bought any more fishies because we're kind of overstocked. But yes, all going well so far. Yeah. Sumera Malik, hello, welcome aboard. And I hope I got that roughly right. Oh yes, the martini adverts for Joan Collins and Leonard Rossiter. Yes. Or as I will always know him, Rigsby out of Rising Damp. The pervy old racist landlord. That does seem to be a theme for 1980s British sitcoms, doesn't it? Pervy old racists. But they were funny. Oh, the fish behind me, in there we have, what we got? What's visible? We have electric blue acaras, black neons, bristle noses, and albino cories, and Nanacara anomala, and somewhere in there's a dwarf neon rainbow fish as well. That's so Martini Henrys. Now they were only shown in Australia, Mark. We were selling them off, so we thought we'd get rid of them at the colonials. My favourite fish. Now I go a different route to most people on a favourite fish, and it's whichever one I can breed and sell and make the most money from, which at the moment is bristle noses, because there's a tank down there. Between those tanks and 2 breeder boxes, at the moment we're around about 1,100 bristle noses, and that's only because I sold a bunch today. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. Yeah, that's right up there with the liquor in the front, poker in the rear t-shirt, isn't it? How much is that in angel fried dollars, Dean? Yeah, I do the same. Yeah, if I'm not necessarily food or whatever, but if I'm buying a treaty type thing or a gadget or something like that, I'll sit there and go, no, So that's 40 bristle noses. Right, that's 10 super heads and 15 normals. Yeah. Well, that's 32 shrimp. Yeah, I do actually think of things like that. That's the other thing. Other than that, one bugger there, that is the only molly I have left now. I only missed that this morning because the tank got really cloudy with all the mold getting stirred up. But yeah, that's the only molly we have left now. So we'll have to get rid of that. I say get rid of. Most of us had some horse, at least the ones who shop at Aldi's. Yeah, or anyone who's ever eaten anything by Findus, pretty much. And to be fair, since they took the horse out of the crispy pancakes, they don't taste as good. Yeah. Molly dollars are gone. Well, Molly cents, let's be honest. Yeah, if you're going to have a live bearer, have one that you can sell for a decent amount of money. Okay, Mandy's AC is at 2068 and sweating like a hooker in a church, trying to erase water spots on a tank that's been outside for 2 months. Yeah, I know that feeling. Almost went in Aldi's for the first visit to Spring Mix the other day, but they closed early. Oh. How dare they think of their employees, Bob? That's the other thing. One of the things I have noticed with the discount supermarkets in the UK, let's call them, the Aldi and Lidl. Yeah, they actually treat their workers, their employees, they actually treat them better than the bigger name ones do. And they get paid more per hour, they get more holiday. You know, they were shut for like Christmas Day and Boxing Day and Easter Sunday and things like that. Yeah, what? Hold up. So the cheap place treats its workers better than the expensive place. Yeah, humidity. Yes. It's the humidity that's the killer. If the humidity is low, yes, you sweat, but it evaporates very quickly. Whereas when it's humid, the sweat doesn't evaporate, and then you get the soggy underboob going on. And when you're a gentleman of a certain shape, you get the soggy waistband going on as well. But the water around here is so hard. If I want to get water spots, I just use a chisel. It's not a water spot; it's a calcium spot. It's basically lime scale. Sky's humidity is like 90%. Yeah, it gets up around there fairly regularly in the summer here. It's not too bad today because there's a bit of a breeze. But yeah, it's been rather scorchy today. I went outside for a ciggy earlier and I stuck me slippers on. Oh, pardon me. And after literally the time it took me to smoke a cigarette, my feet were too hot from the heat coming up through the concrete path and it through my slippers. Oh, pardon me again. Yes, burping will happen. This is why I need a burp emoji as well. AC brand new, and they just came out and did the maintenance. So it's a meat locker. I was going to say, you're probably a bit too young for it still, Mandy, but the old mental pause isn't coming in, is it? Getting the old hot flushes from that. Because Mandy is still a little baby. Young lady. Wonder shell, clean water spots. And that's kind of using, but then I don't know, it is basically calcium, isn't it? So calcium might stick to calcium. It's basically hot flashes, yeah. I've worked with a lot of middle-aged and older ladies, should we put it that way? So I'm, yeah, it's exactly. I'm still a little baby. Yeah, I've worked with a lot of women around my age and older, and yeah, I'm used to menopausal ladies, or as we called it at Hamilton Acorn, the mental pause. It's amazing. It feels when the temp is good, isn't pulling all the humidity out. Had to set a dehumidifier up to keep it below 60. Ooh. Get it wet and rub. That works in so many different ways, Lady Di. Wet sanding. Trying to think of others that YouTube would approve of. Polishing. Standard heat is not the humidity. Thing is, first, I'm British. Secondly, I'm fat. Third, I'm hairy. So yeah, I don't do well with heat or humidity. I'm also extremely unfit, so that doesn't help matters either. So yeah. I don't think any of my thermometers go down that cold because they're all designed to be in water, which you don't really need a thermometer for when it gets down to these temps. But I'm the guy who was working outdoors basically when it was minus 10°C a few years back when I was at Sainsbury's. I was in short sleeves and trousers or pants. And I was working basically outdoors in minus 10, and I was fine. I was even getting a bit of a sweat on. You can dress for the cold. Yeah. You can always put more clothes on if you get cold. There's a limit to how many you can take off. Even if you're sat at home, and then you just get to the point where you're stripped down to your undercrackers, and you can't really take them off because you need something to absorb a bit of sweat so you don't just soak the entire seat. So yes, I will be having a rag in my back pocket at work to mop my brow if I start glowing a little, or to stop it dripping onto my glasses and leaving sweat stripes on the glasses. Which reminds me, I've got to service my bicycle this week because I'd rather not walk 20 minutes each way to work, especially after 8 hours. Walking 20 minutes home is not going to be fun. Sprinklers to grow pop and pools for fish. Yeah, if you get stoned enough, you don't care that it's too hot. You just pass out. Yeah, that works well. Now the courgettes are doing well. They're just starting to come into flower. So they've got the flower buds forming. Yeah, 60, 70 is a bit warm for me. I'm more 40 to 50. It's getting shed my skin with too much sun exposure. I have been tempted to put my feet in the pond, but I know there's leeches in the pond. I'd rather not deal with that. So what I would normally do is get a bucket, fill it with cold water, and just sit with my feet in the bucket. That works. Always just fill the bath up with cold water and sit in that for half hour until it starts getting warm. As for sunburn, probably not showing, but all those freckles on that arm come from a bout of sunburn. I'm sitting there fishing in the middle of August. I was there from about 5 o'clock in the morning through till about 8 o'clock in the evening, wearing a vest, what we call a vest, so a sleeveless t-shirt. And me being me, didn't have any sunblock or anything, and the sun was directly on me for like over 12 hours. And yeah, I frazzled myself. I turned nice. Well, it wasn't even bright red. It was more Bloody Mary, shrimp red, a dark red. Yeah, that one was sore. It peeled. Was it 3 times it peeled? So I did it on the Saturday. It started peeling on the Monday at work. That layer of skin came off. Then the second layer of skin came off, and then another layer of skin came off. So yeah, I did a good job of that one. And thank you very much, Bob, for being a member for 7 months. A Zach friend. Yeah, proper lobster red. Because the sun had been on that side as it came round. It went that way round. This side of me was completely my normal white colour, and this side of me was just red. And at the time, I had long hair and was wearing a baseball cap, so it kept most of the sun off my face. But yeah, I cooked myself just a little. Wet the shell and use it like a buffer. I'd assume that's what you do. You moisten the shell and then just rub it all over. I'm assuming because it would be mildly abrasive. So yeah, basically wet sand in the tank with a very mild abrasive. I wouldn't suggest to do it on acrylic though. Get it wet and give it a good rub. Just if you have to roll it in flour to find the wet spot. Sunburn is your cell's way of trying not to become cancer. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Just stay out of the sun. It's a lot easier. Many type of fish. Just rubbing your fish all over the tank, trying to get the water spots off. No, that might work with a bristlenose or a pleco. They're fairly rough. Get them in the right direction. Yeah. Hell, you could probably use a bristlenose as a file if you really wanted to. Now, get a nice big pleco. You can use it to file down a big bit of wood. Yeah. Just avoid all contact with light and you're golden. And that's coming from me, who is dark-haired and less likely to burn than some people. Yes, and obviously Mandy being a wonderful redhead. Just the thought of the sun probably makes Mandy's skin match her hair colour. Yeah, I say, yeah, I wouldn't go in my pond. Bad enough putting my hand in there. Don't know what's going to try and eat me. Shady trees, yes. Well, thankfully the sun has gone down far enough that it's now behind the bungalow behind me. Mandy is translucent. Yeah, I've just got the graveyard tan. I don't look as stubbly as I should. That's because most of it's white now, so it matches my skin. I'm just waiting for the eyebrows to go white, because if the eyebrows go white, then yeah, that will look really weird. Admittedly, at the moment, it's easy to get my hair to match my t-shirt. And no, that's not just from men gel. That's not dyed. That is the natural hair colour. Although I was born blonde. Problem with shady trees is the sun keeps moving. And it's also where the mosquitoes tend to congregate as well. So while you're out in the sun, you're getting eaten alive by all sorts of insects. Not good. I'd rather avoid being eaten by insects and the sun, so just stay indoors. Says the guy with a mosquito farm in the back garden. Okay, it's a shrimp tub, but it's full of mosquito larvae as well. I think they're doing better than the shrimp are, but given the fact that I'm going to need extra tank space for bristlenoses shortly, I think we'll be leaving those shrimp out there for the foreseeable future. Bob's picturing himself in grey skin. Yeah. Hopefully you've got many, many more years before you turn grey, Bob. Skin-wise, at least. Yes, exactly, Mark. Free fish food. Just dip a net in, swish it around a bit, and then dump it in the shell dweller tank, usually. Watch them go nuts. They go nuts for any kind of food. And yes, again, we've got far too many shell dwellers in the shell dweller tank. Back up over 50 again. Spray tans, no. Send Trump. Oh dear. Yeah, let's just say American politics wouldn't be as much of a laughing stock as it is in the rest of the world if Mandy had been put in charge. Let's put it that way. Literally, when the rest of the world heard that Donald Trump was standing for president, we thought it was a joke. You know, like when someone like Kanye West or Snoop Dogg tries to stand for president, you know, that's a joke. Donald Trump, they're serious? Hang on, people are actually voting for it? The hell? Trump, the next leader of the Rhino Party. Yeah. There's only one book he wants to read, but he's going to need it translated from German into English. That's probably the book he's already read. Publicity stunt there to wake him up to accept. Yeah. But I mean, of all the presidents you guys have had, the ones that have been assassinated, no one thought to actually. It's just like, really? Oh dear. But enough politics. But yay, Boris Johnson's gone. Boo. All the replacements are just as bad. Yes, so when Johnson's replacement is announced in the autumn, that will be 2 prime ministers in a row that we've not voted for. Imagine that, America, having 2 presidents in a row that nobody voted for. I don't mean election fraud. I mean, literally, there wasn't even a vote for the general election. Did hope as a child that maybe one day all my freckles would connect to make me tanned, but it never worked. Oh, bless you. I do get the joke. It does happen sometimes, partially. You do sometimes see redheads that have got lots of freckles that have joined up, and it kind of looks like reverse vitiligo. Is it vitiligo? Yeah, that's the one where you get the white patches, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's not the hair one, that's alopecia. Yeah, it's been a hot day. I spent most of the morning catching bristlenoses and shrimp, so, you know, I'm allowed to be a bit bleh. That's awful. Do they represent you? Yeah, yeah, the full prime minister, Andy, Lady Di, sorry. Yeah, the party votes for their new leader, and we get stuck with them. It's just everyone blaming both sides, winning on Russian intervention. Yeah, yeah. When freckles join up, they can turn into moles, and you don't want mole hills, that's for sure. And last I heard was weird sent a brigade of tanks over to somewhere that borders Russia as a deterrent, saying, nope, you're not coming this way. If you come this way, you're going to get shot at, and start a war with NATO, basically. And I'm pretty sure that the British tanks will quite handily deal with the Russian tanks. As much as I love a Russian tank because they do look cool, they are the coolest looking tanks, and the new ones are really rather good. The older ones, which is what most of their armed forces are made up of, the T-72s that they're mostly using, pretty much exclusively using T-72s, are actually Cold War era tanks. Even the T-90, the modern version, is based on a T-72 hull, heavily updated and modified, but it's still based on the T-72 pattern. Yes, tank nerd alert. Sorry, I should have said that before I started. I've even got a T-72 up there. There's probably a T-80 somewhere. Let's have a look. Hopefully not Poland. Yeah, we'll leave Poland out of it. Yeah, there's a T-80. Is that T-80? So if we do a basic comparison of the size and the shape, there is the T-80, which is the updated version of the T-72 that they're currently using. And there is the T90. Basically identical tanks, running gear wise. Which are both updates of the T54. So yes, I know my Russian tanks. Ugh. Oh, Bob says, James, Ed and I will be in Knoxville next Saturday for Repticon. Like to meet up there afterwards? I'd love to, but I'm working, Bob. And in the wrong continent. And the camera's doing that. I'm not going to focus on you anymore. So let's just try and leave it and see. Although out of focus Sharpe is probably more attractive than in focus Sharpe. And thank you very much, Lady Di. It's one of the things I do know a bit about is tanky tanks. Oh, I ain't got a Mark 1, but I do have a Mark 4, specifically a Mark 4 hermaphrodite, because one side has the 6-pounders, the other side has the machine guns. And there's only one person in chat who might actually recognise what this is. Well, there's a couple who might recognise the actual flavour of tank. And it is very dusty, and it doesn't actually have any unit markings on it. That's actually an Australian Centurion. And you can tell it's Australian by the name they decided to give to the tank on the back. So yes. And we're back in focus again. So yeah, the Mark 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the TOG, the Centurion. I love that word. Well, I mean, it goes back to Roman times as used in Vietnam, exactly, which is why it is weathered with reddish mud, which is the color that was in Vietnam. Actually, I think one of the weathering products I used on it is actually called Vietnam mud. So historically correct. I think actually that exact tank was used in Vietnam. If I remember right. That's the kind of sort of thing I'll look into when I'm building a model to try and make it accurate, as it were. It's usually fairly easy to find out. You just Google it. Australian Centurion, putting in a click, and it will come up with the or just the unit and everything like that, and it will tell you where it's served, like Oklahoma, Red Dirt, or indeed Australia, or Mars. You know, one could argue that Mars is probably less inimical to life than the center of the outback is. Well, at least on Mars, all you're going to do is freeze to death or suffocate. There's so many more ways to die in Australia. Do we have no? We don't have any more normal filters. We're just down to got plenty of normal filters over there. I just can't bother to walk over there at the moment. So we're going for a menthol, which is helpful given the fact that my hay fever's decided to kick in heavy today. Probably heat, being outside, not good. Yes, I had to go out into the garden and disturb all the grass and stuff to go cut some latte leaves, which I do every week, so that Latte Bunny has some nice fresh green leaves to eat. So you got some nice green grass, some chives, some blackberry leaves, and some curly leaf parsley this week. And no doubt she's probably eaten it all already. I just think the favourites like heart attacks and cancer. Yeah, I mean, heart attacks are fairly quick. But, you know. Yeah, bunnies eat chives. Bunnies eat all kinds of fresh herbs. I mean, not too many. If you give them too many, it can give them a bit of windy pops. And that's uncomfortable for them, despite how funny it is hearing a bunny fart. They fart and they turn around and look at their own back end, all confused as to what's going on. Yeah, chives, parsley, marjoram, rosemary, thyme, rose leaves and petals they love. Let's say blackberry leaves. The obvious dandelions and grass. Yeah, pretty much any herb that grows wild they will eat. New emoji, fighting rabbit. Yeah, her say chives. Yeah, but I mean, she quite happily eats them. She doesn't get very many, because as I say, they will give her wind if she has too many. But yeah, she devours them quite happily. Yeah, mint leaves as well. If you've got peppermint or spearmint, spearmint better than peppermint. Peppermint can be a bit much for them, but and note for anyone thinking of planting a bunch of herbs in the garden, don't. Surprise, see? Yes, always plant herbs in containers, because they have a tendency to thrive rather well and get everywhere and take over. And if they're in a raised container, it's also a lot easier to trim them, either to feed your bunny or yourself, than having to bend all the way over the ground to do them. Oh, and Eric is on next. Thank you very much, Bob. So when we're done, people can zip over and see Eric Furlow. The link is there. We've got to try and think of a hashtag, haven't we? Oh, there we go. I got it. I know the exact perfect hashtag to do. Help by clicking the right place, wouldn't it, really? There we go. Oh, well, bay trees, yes, that's one thing. And I suppose in your environment probably wouldn't go too nuts, but yeah. A bay tree. Yeah, trees you have to plant in the ground, kind of. But see you later, Sky, if you're off. Have fun yourself. That's the one. Hashtag Ghost Lives Matter. It was going to be that or hashtag pro afterlife, but that one has apparently upset some people when I've been using it lately. Obviously, with the recent changes to law over there, or the recent unchanges, I should say. Which is, mind you, Poland tried the same thing. The only difference is the Poles don't take squit. So all the women in Poland went on strike. That means they didn't go to work, they didn't do the cleaning, they didn't cook the meals. Yeah, that law got repealed real fast. You too, James, take care. Don't relax too hard, my friend. Have fun and waffle on. Yes. Oh, yeah, only 9 minutes left. But yeah. So, fortunately, Poland being more of a socialist country means all the women didn't just get the sack for going on strike. They actually did something about it. I should have thought of that when Mark mentioned 1939 earlier. But yeah, it was definitely a good thing. Where else are we going? Well, so, oh yes, we haven't talked about videos, have we? What do we have this week? Was it the pond dipping this week? I think it was the pond dipping on Monday. You can talk as much as you like, my lady. Gives me something to. If you hadn't noticed, I tend to riff off what the chat's going on about. I can't really waffle coherently for 2 hours, so it helps having an active chat. So yes, it was the pond dipping on Monday, I think, and the summation video on Friday of the events at Icklingham All Saints, which is a church I don't recommend people visit. Let's put it that way. Unless you have some experience with the paranormal, it's not a good place to visit. I'm trying to think what will be this week. Yeah. What have I got? I've got a whole bunch of videos recorded. I just can't remember what they are. Well, it'll be something fishy tomorrow and something spooky on Friday, hopefully. Bearing in mind I'll be working, so I might have to upload a video Thursday instead of Friday and see if I can figure out how to schedule the release or something like that. Might even set it as a premiere, and then I'll forget that it's a premiere and I won't be in the chat of my own video. That'd be about right. Oh dear, your internet drop out, did you, Marriott? Oh dear. I think everyone's hit the like lady die, as we got more likes than we got people watching, so oh, lost everything. It completely crashed out on you. Oh dear. That does happen from time to time. Thankfully, I'm on BT business broadband, so it doesn't. Same with my phone. I'm on a business contract with my mobile phone as well. So, yeah. Not entirely sure how that happened, but I think whoever sold me the phone contract was just trying to sell business contracts and sold me one, and then because I had a business contract with them when BT bought them, it meant I could have a business contract with BT. So yeah, my internet and phone is dirt cheap. I'm on the highest BT internet and I pay £17 a month for it. Oh, hello, Spotty. You come out and say hello, are you? And the happy cars are having a snooze. And the rainbow fish is chasing something about. They're looking a bit grumpy. But oh well. It's probably grumpy because there's no more molly fry in there to eat. Which is why I'm going to have to grow out the limia before they go in there. Because otherwise he's just going to eat them all. And limia are worth a little bit more than mollies. So yes. You really are showing off today, aren't you, Spotty? Eh? Oh, that's why you're showing off, is it? Your bristles are getting bristles on them, are they? They're very clever of you. Go on, buddy. Swim it away here. Go on. That's it. Here's a kiss. Yeah, he's a good boy. When I take his cave out to take the fry out or the wrigglers out, he just backs. As soon as I lift the cave up, he just backs out slowly and just swims off and leaves me to just empty the fry out. Fred, on the other hand, he jams himself in there so tight that you can't get him out, and consequently you end up with a lot of escaped pleclets swimming around in the tank, being a pig to catch because it's like a jungle. But yeah, I did get a very good deal on my internet. Going from the normal type to the business type, I saved myself nearly £60 a month. Just, yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Bob, for the $5 super chat. Which, yeah, I'm thinking is iPhone, as they take the penny off, but I'll call it $5. As always, very appreciated. And who knows, from now on, perhaps super chats and things like that might actually go to buying shiny things like new fishies rather than paying bills, which I have been lately. I am tempted because one of my LFSs has just got 3 spine sticklebacks in, which are a British native fish. I can't put them in the pond, unfortunately, because they would get eaten by the comets, and I'd never see them again, even if they didn't get eaten by the comets. It's just whether I can clear a tank out, heavily plant it, and then put no heater in it, keep it cold enough, yeah, and have stickly backs. Oh, and thank you very much, Marit. You didn't have to do that. 55 Norwegian kroner. Very appreciated. And it's okay. I know the exchange rate roughly, so but thank you very much. I will put it to good use. Not just paying for electric or council tax or something like that. Anyway, yes, so I think I'm about there. I need something to eat. And wee Chinese, yes. Buy the Chinese. Heck, even if it is just more Fluval U1 filters for these tanks. Actually, I had someone comment on that video, the unboxing, that it was very boring and I didn't show where the bits went. I have deleted the comment, but I was thinking, what am I going to show? There's 3 suction cups that go in the holes on the back and a small venturi that plugs in the top of the nozzle. what is there to show? If you can't figure out where these suction cups go on a filter, you've got a problem. But anyway, yes, my time is up, and Mr. Eric Furlow is going live now. As Bob has wonderfully reposted the link. I won't be there, but remember, hashtag Ghost Lives Matter. I won't be there because I food, toilet, all that kind of stuff. Sort myself out of it. But yes, thank you very much for that. Thank you for the super chats and for my members and for everyone for just being here and being cool and awesome. I do plan on keeping the 2 videos and 1 live stream a week going, but we'll see how things go. But yes, I've got plenty pre-recorded. We're okay for Friday videos on paranormal for at least 9 weeks. And fishy videos, I think I've got 4 weeks worth done. So we should be okay for a bit at least. Anyway, thank you again to everyone for turning up, members, super chats, all that good stuff. If you want to become a member, the link thing is down there. It says join. It's 99p a month. You become a Zach friend. Like, comment, subscribe, share, notification bell, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye-bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Ah. Meow.